wonder if it's Arne. It's not Arne Slot, is it? Arne Slot. Arne Slot. I saw Gary Cottrell, incidentally, of Sky yesterday over there doing what he's so good at, getting in front of the main people in the news, and he got in front of Arne Slot because Arne Slot has been speaking following his side's win last night, following Feyenoord's win against Go Ahead Eagles. I think they won 3-0, 3-1 against them. Arne Slot has come out and he said he'd be crazy not to take the next step in his career with Liverpool, and he's confident of a deal being done. He's been quite open about this, Simon. He confirmed that his interest in the job last night, both before and after Feyenoord's 3-1 league win. He says the clubs are negotiating. I'm waiting to see what will come out of it. It's no secret that I would like to go to Liverpool. Now I'm waiting for the clubs to reach an agreement. I have confidence in that. What is this, Simon? If you're the owner of Feyenoord, are you somewhat annoyed at Slot speaking so openly, or has Slot himself been refreshingly or worryingly honest about his future here?
I think you're a grown-up. I think you realise the landscape. You realise that the manager has already probably told you in no uncertain terms that he wants to potentially join Liverpool. So that genie's out of the bottle, and you can get prickly and you can get pristine about it, prissy about it, not pristine, and start to become a little bit irritated by the fact that he's clearly saying he wants to go. But that's already done. Everybody knows all that. The fact that we've got the rumour mill circulating and that the manager's being doorstepped by Sky outside Feyenoord's game the other day, and so on and so forth. All of those things, it doesn't alter the landscape of that there's going to be a need to meet the expectation of the club releasing him from his contract. So, I
think it's quite. I like the fact Slot saying, "Look, I know they're after me. Who wouldn't want to go to Liverpool? And yes, I've got to be patient, but I hope I'll end up there."
Well, I think ultimately, with the way that the interest levels go with managers now, and the way that the indexing comes into play, I think it's just one of the realities of the world that we live in. I would be unhappy as the club that has their manager sitting in situ going, "What am I, chopped liver?" But these conversations would have already been had. They'd have been had. The manager would have already gone into the people at Feyenoord going, "Look, fellas, I've done a good job for you. I signed a contract with you, which puts you in a position where you can commercially negotiate a significant compensation fee. I'm going to go to Liverpool, so we can do it the nice way or we can do it the hard way, and I can play silly buggers with the media and say nothing, or I can say what I want." I think all of these ducks that have been lined up in a line already. Yeah. So with that in mind, I don't have a view on whether it's inappropriate. I do think he's taking on a very difficult job, and I do think it's like following Alex Ferguson into Man United without the same level of achievement, I know. But the omnipotency of Ferguson over Manchester United, the culture of Manchester United, and dragging that rather ragtag and bobtail outfit in 2013 across the line to win the Premier League.
Yeah, but you like many yesterday, Simon, were suggesting that Klopp's final farewell is in danger of petering out.
Well, it is. But that is an advantage for Arne Slot that maybe he can capitalise on, because normally when you walk in the door behind someone that's held in such high regard, there is a difficulty to follow that. And maybe the Liverpool players are conspiring to make it an easy introduction to Arne Slot by being so bloody awful at the end of the season.
Yeah, it's a hard act to follow, by the way. When you might say he's falling away now, but I think Klopp's been absolutely magnificent. To make a fight. We just talked about Man City, haven't we? And you think about when he first went there. I think it was 2015. He got to the Europa Cup final, 3 finals in 4 years, 2 Champions Leagues. One of them he lost, one he won. Credible. I know they've only won 1 Premier League, and you could argue, okay, in the Premier League, but City have seen them as their main rivals, and Klopp and Pep have, they've gone to head for many years. So there's no doubt. I mean, he's going to be a massive loss, Jurgen Klopp, to the Premier League. He
is, but I mean, someone will have to fill the shoes sooner than later, and it looks like sooner, and it looks like Slot. And Martin Slot does say last night, I'm having a great time at Feyenoord, but if there's a club like Liverpool, it would be crazy if you didn't find that a great next step in your career. The clubs are in talks, and I'm waiting for that. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, what we're looking at.
It's not been disrespectful.
No, the Dutch
to
league is
Feyenoord.
probably the 5th biggest league in Europe, and he's going to the big boys, isn't he? That's a huge club, Liverpool. Of course, he's going ambitious, but yeah, I think Simon's right. In terms of professionally, It's not necessarily what you want to hear at Feyenoord. If you're, the big wigs at their club, they just want it to be done. Okay, it'll all happen in good grace and we'll let you go. That's fine. But just see the job through for us, please. We've still got a season to finish.
And also, what you don't want is this gurning, gushing, running towards Liverpool whilst there's commercial negotiations going on between Feyenoord and Liverpool, because Feyenoord are going to be turning around and saying we want as much money as we possibly can. They really don't need the manager doing a celebratory lap around their stadium in a Liverpool shirt.
Is he doing that?
Well, he's making it very clear and very evident for whatever reason he needs to. And he doesn't need to. This is a conversation that he can have with Liverpool. He can be sitting in front of Liverpool with his new set of gnashers, if he gets those done, in Martin's way of thinking.
That's the set of
prerequisite. And saying, I'm very enthusiastic to come here. And but the bottom line is playing it through the media creates a downward pressure on commercial negotiations. But that's the reality of the world that they're in. If you think those commercial negotiations are going to be played out through the media or in private, they'll probably have the same effect. And the fact that he's playing to a gallery of Liverpool saying, what person in their right mind wouldn't want to manage a club of this stature?
Yeah. I mean, and he knows the talks are going on probably today. And as top journalist Marcel van der Kraan told us earlier in the week, it could well be done even by, say, this Saturday.
I expect it to be done in the weekend. And my only reservation is it's another manager from Holland who has never played in the Premier League. And that, I've always said, could be a bit of a problem, because you have to know the culture and the atmosphere of English football. And my reservations are really against all that sort of those sort of transfers. Every Dutch manager has struggled so far.
Martin, how do you feel about another Dutch coach coming to the Premier League?
Arne apparently has got a massive vision for the game, apparently, reading stuff that Van Basten has said, notable people in the game. I don't know if he's really going to... It's quite a step up, Jim, isn't it, going to the Premier League? Has he really got the necessary tools?
What do you think? There's a reservation and a pushback that Dutch coaches that have come into English football have come without any English football experience, coming in from what people perceive to be a substandard in comparison to the Premier League and La Liga and Serie A. Dutch Eredivisie coming in and being successful, and they're pointing at Ten Hag, and they might be looking at a tad, but not so poignantly, at Louis van Gaal. So this backdrop of Dutch coaches that have come in, Van Gaal didn't get on very well with the British media, didn't get on very well at Manchester United, and got jettisoned after winning an FA Cup. Ten Hag is struggling so much that he can't even talk to sections of the media now. And ultimately, Ronald Koeman had his moments, but now you've got another one. What's your view on whether that has any validity in that thinking?
I think you've got to just judge it in isolation. I think if Liverpool, you'd like to think that they do things really well there with their recruitment. Should it be any different when it comes to managers? They would have assessed this really well. I think we should give them that opportunity.
But Liverpool
I don't think we should judge them on Ten Hag.
Never had this forward momentum like they've got now, have they? For years and years and years, Liverpool have struggled to get themselves into a situation where they could even win a Premier League, and they've had Brendan Rodgers, they've had other people that kind of won them things but didn't get them.
But it's
where
about
Klopp's
the signature.
got them.
It's about the signature of the team, and it's like trying to bring a manager in that fits with those ideals. So at the moment you see that the Liverpool press really well, probably one of the best in Europe, and then they can still pass that ball, can't they? With McAllister in there now, has gone more footballistic, I'd say, in that midfield. They pass the ball more this year. Yeah. So the new manager coming in can't be completely different to that. And maybe that's the first basis to make that appointment. Whether he has the charisma, whether he can work with the Liverpool people in the way that Klopp did, I very much doubt.
He's got the charisma. He obviously has.
He's got some act to follow there, Jim.
But that's the thing, isn't it? Because when we were analysing it yesterday, we were looking at Klopp and this record and this huge noise, and I'm a huge admirer of Klopp's, this huge noise isn't quite backed up by a huge trophy haul. Because Klopp is perceived and regarded by most people as, wow, look at Klopp.
Well, that's right.
But when you distill it down...
What was it, 30-odd years since Liverpool, before he got there? You've got to look at it in the context of what he arrived in.
But the context of Liverpool fans, and you've got to look at it in the context of what's going out the back. Because everyone's going out going, my word, Klopp has been remarkable. He has been an absolute revolution
he turned
for
the club
Liverpool.
Completely transformed that football club.
And that's the question that you ask yourself.
But the fact is, everything comes to an end, Martin, and this fella Slot, I think, has huge faith in himself to be the right man for the job. And we think it'll happen this weekend. So the talking goes on. As he looks set to head to Merseyside, it does not appear that Bruno Guimaraes will be heading to PSG. A senior source at Paris Saint-Germain is saying, no, we won't be going in the direction of Bruno Guimaraes. So Newcastle fans can breathe a sigh of relief.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.